Cost-effective, sustainable solutions to problems that we have.
Boom. Which put you
Nailed
in
it.
public
Wow.
office.
That was good. You didn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
write that out. Way to
Absolutely.
go.
Wait a minute now. I was looking down here.
That might be the hook right there. Yeah, he's got the quick start French book guide on his way over.
I'll be
So Tim's going to France and we're hanging out with local celebrities. So here we are. Guys, welcome to the White Whale Real Estate YouTube channel. My name is Chris Shores, my business partner Tim Loomis, and our favorite local celebrity in town, Mayor Fred Cleveland. We're happy to have him back, and we're gonna put him in the hot seat again. We know elections are coming up, and we want you guys to be able to get some information that is going to hopefully make you feel a little bit better about this upcoming election. We know a lot of people aren't wanting to get out there and vote. We're going to hopefully give you some reasons why, and happy to have you here. Thanks for being here with us, Fred.
Chris, honor and a privilege to be back with the White Whale guys and to continue to serve our city. What an honor and a privilege it's been for Amy and I over the last nearly 2 years. So it's been a lot of fun.
Privilege has been ours getting to know you as well over the last couple of years, and excited for this upcoming election. If you haven't voted, make sure you go out and vote.
We've had the general election coming up on the 5th of November.
So when that happens.
When that comes up, we had the primary election, that went down, and per our charter, we have to go all the way to the finish line, and we'll look forward to doing that on the 5th of November. So early vote, vote by mail, vote in person.
All right, I think it does get a little confusing, especially for people in our age group where there's so much going on. And it's like you vote here, there, now, but we'll just as long as you get in by November 5th. Can we agree on that?
Right. On
Okay.
November 5th, you have to go to your precinct. If
Okay.
you want to early vote, you can go to our public library, regardless of where you live, and vote. Or if you want to go get a mail-in ballot, I think you're still available. So you just go on volusiacounty.org and look up for Supervisor of Elections.
Okay.
And Lisa Lewis's office will dial you in right away.
Perfect.
So when you can vote, make sure you vote.
So you want to go over kind of how we do the flow of things in case
so-
it's your first time here on our local live interviews?
Of course. So we're gonna ask Mayor Fred Cleveland some questions. There's some more heavy-hitting questions in there, and then there's also some easier questions. But we'll just go back and forth, and if there's any other things that come up in between or anything special you'd like to let our locals and voters know, by all means. So I'll kick it off.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim, perfect.
So, what has been one of your proudest accomplishments thus far being the mayor of New Smyrna Beach?
Over the last 2 years, earning the trust of our citizenry has really made the difference in how people feel about what's going on in their government. And we got to watch it in the number of contributors at public participation. We got to see it in the attendance at the commission meetings. And so the commission and I have tried to be as transparent as possible, make sure that we don't dodge any issues, tackle the things that are vexing to the community, and continue to maintain the public trust. Probably the most significant of that has been stormwater, traffic, and growth.
Yeah.
Beach access is in there right alongside that. So those have been the most rewarding things to get started. Homelessness in our community has been an issue for quite a long time. We have formed a task force to address that, where we got the police department, local charities, the hospital. I've talked to Dr. Hernandez, the CEO, and David Goldman, their chief medical officer. They know that there is a medical way to help end the cycle of dependency of homelessness. And they're putting that to use right now. So we have this conclave of people that are doing good things coming together to do a structured approach to how we can solve the homelessness issue in our town. And we're making good strides there. The second great accomplishment, and we'll hear it at the upcoming commission meeting, will be the outbrief of the engineering firm that we put in place to study parking and traffic in our city.
There it is, the parking.
It is, yeah.
So That's right. The age-old issue.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with parking? Well, it's not a new issue, but
Yeah.
finally we've got some math, science, and logic, as we engineers are prone to use to solve problems rather than by personal experience or innuendo or flipping a coin. I think these solutions will be sustainable. And this firm has delivered 23 items, many of them the same ones that the Parking Task Force put in place.
Okay.
And each of them, they have an action plan for each of those to deliver them. And then they've categorized them now, first year, second year, third year, so that we can actually have a sequence of how they should flow. So I'm very excited to have that put out for the public. It'll happen tonight, actually, at 5 o'clock at City Hall.
All right, good deal. And so tonight, when you're viewing this at a later date, today is September 24th, so you can go back in the city archives and check out today's city meeting as well. And we'll leave a link in the description for you there below. Love the concept of actually having an action plan behind these ideas that we have, and an actual plan to actually go forward and make things happen. So nice softball question to get things rolling.
Playing
with no action is not really a good thing. So.
Yeah.
No,
hope is not a
strategy. Boom. Hope is not a strategy.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So, all right, so moving on, a little bit more serious of a question. So small business support. So small businesses are the backbone of New Smyrna. Tim and I, as small business owners, we live and breathe it on a day-to-day. We're friends with so many other small business owners in town as well, and a lot of aspiring business owners. So what steps is the city taking to support local entrepreneurs and to help ensure their success?
We just hired a brand new director of the Economic Development Organization, Samantha Bergeron, who is a household name in businesses around Volusia County. She's tied into Team Volusia. She's tied in with all the Chamber of Commerces. She has just joined our team as the new director, and she is a ball of fire. We spoke today about incubators and how we can actually aid new businesses or those that would have a business speed to market and survive those first 2 years of the cycles that are up and down and be ready to make it for the long run. And she is prepared to do the hand holding and connect the dots and diagram the path to success for any budding new businesses, some old businesses that never learned the dance steps and want to get the science down, or somebody with just an idea to bring it to fruition. So I'm very excited about that. She's awesome. She's going to be the right new start that our city needs.
Yeah, sounds like a great asset.
Especially for those first couple of years as business owners, it's extremely difficult. Especially for people that don't have, it's their first business or even second. It can be extremely difficult. So to have that's amazing. And I've met Samantha a couple times as well, and very excited for her and to be a part of New Smyrna.
The bigger picture, Tim, is just that. We need to diversify our ad valorem tax base and get the 90% off the residents so that our generation and future generations, you want to leave your home to your kids or your grandkids, they won't be able to afford to live here if we don't change the tax base. So 90% of the load being borne by residents and only 10% by businesses, if we can get more businesses in to share the load, because businesses actually consume fewer dollars of city support than residents do.
Absolutely.
And so it's actually a bonus. So if we can change that calculus, we will be on our way. And if we attract the right businesses, things that are environmentally sensitive, things that are in a growth pattern, like aerospace, like education, things that are clean and don't pollute, we will be on our way. And that's her mindset.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It'll be a great
person to have, great resource for the community. And on to the next one, Bob.
So waterway protection, environmental concerns. Obviously, that's a big deal, us living right here on the waterways. How is the city addressing pollution and the health of local waterways, particularly with issues like derelict boats and marine conservation efforts?
Boy, we could spend the whole show on this. It's a delightful topic, and one day maybe you guys will be ready to do that. But I am excited to announce that today we christened the New Smyrna Beach Police Marine Patrol boat.
Oh, fantastic.
And it is
You're
out.
hoping you're going to bring that up.
It is out even now patrolling the waterways in conjunction with our Sheriff's Department, our Florida Wildlife Organization, and the Coast Guard. And so Chief Feldman, in a ceremony this morning, today on Tuesday the 24th, we had a gathering down behind the Brannon Center. We actually got to get on the boat, see the boat, and hear his strategy for providing not only safety on the waterway, but ecological protection by doing health and comfort inspections on boats, by being out there nonstop. These two officers will be there full-time. It's their full-time job, and we will have a Marine unit that is in coordination with all the others, so jurisdiction will never be a problem. Some days you'll see a Coast Guardsman or a sheriff on our boats, and you'll sometimes see our patrol officers, our Marine patrol officers, on a sheriff's vessel or on the Coast Guard boat. So this interoperability is going to be just amazing for our city.
That's something I've noticed too over the last couple of years, that there's been a lot more of that interconnectivity with different law enforcements and cities, and it just seems like everything's been moving towards a more cohesive, cooperative environment. So
Tim, I couldn't agree more. The good guys are winning. This interoperability that we have with the Sheriff's Department and many other agencies has been blown up to the nines here. Our city has the enviable position of being the leaders in many, many aspects. Volusia County had never had a active shooter drill. The City of New Smyrna Police Department led the active shooter drill for the county at the Daytona Beach Speedway last year. And it was the talent that we have inside our ranks. Now that we've gone from 48 officers that we've had on board forever to 64 sworn officers, a total department of over 100 now. Wow. We have the talent, we have the bandwidth to do all those things that the citizens have been asking for decades. So public safety is up in the city of New Smyrna. Hurricane preparedness is up in New Smyrna. The fire department has just been given permission to get a second ambulance that will be self-funded by the residents who actually use that service. We found that it is a good business to be in, and our fire department found a cost-neutral way to bring a second unit. We have a deep water unit, a high-wheeled unit that the police department operates that can do rescues. We have a series of smaller vessels, smaller boats that can go in streets that are flooded. So there's good news on that front. The next greatest thing going on is we've actually bought a spider device, which is a gully and canal cleaner. We don't have to contract that out anymore. And now we have our own device, we have our own machine, which can go into all of the intricate canal systems and actually scoop the crud that is built up over the years and make it function as it was designed. So those are just a few of the things that are getting started right now. And it's topical, right? Today is the 24th, the Tuesday. Thursday, we're supposed to have Hurricane Helena approach the west coast of Florida, and we will invariably get bands of wind and bands of rain, which will affect our residents. So we want to be ready for that. Mr. Cowper has released the first text that goes to every resident's cell phone. If you have a cell phone in our town, you should have received a text this morning that told you where to get sandbags and what is being done by the city in preparation for this storm.
Yep. So as far as New Smyrna goes, I feel like we are still a small town, but we've got big town capabilities. We're always expanding and doing things. I had no idea about the new spider gadget. I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
We're not going to have to contract out. We're not going to have meetings about, hey, can we pay somebody to come clean out our own canals and waterways to help with the overall flooding issue. So that's incredible. So
cost-effective, sustainable solutions to problems that we have.
Boom. We should put you in public office.
That was good. You didn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
write that out. Way to
Wait
go.
a minute now. I was looking down here.
That might be the hook right there.
You know, Chris, you talked about what is so enjoyable about being mayor. This interoperability for local governments to work together is so important. And let's just talk about stormwater management. Water, like parking, knows no boundaries. They didn't care whether you're at the border of Edgewater or Port Orange, it's going to spill into New Smyrna.
Sure.
Similarly with water. So with stormwater, it's important for all the stakeholders of those canals, whether it's a homeowners association, which owns several canals, whether it's the county, which owns an adjoining part of that canal, or whether it's the city of New Smyrna. If any one section of that is clogged up, everyone suffers. So we have done our best, and that's what's so good about the ability to co-opt, to
Sure.
collaborate, to cooperate with those agencies, those entities, and with our leaders in our town to make sure that everybody's pulling together in the same direction. Those canals need to be open or somebody suffers. So that's just one of the many examples of what this interoperability does for us.
Yep, and I think New Smyrna has really taken some strong leadership stances with that, and has helped kind of paving the way for that. I think it's one of the things we're probably most proud of, is just seeing the fine display that everybody's doing to make that happen, because I know there's other cities that we've been to in Florida where that's just not the way, and it's, oh, well, he or she did this, or now, well, it's their responsibility or their job, and New Smyrna and the surrounding cities are just all taking the accountability and the initiative to work together and say it's not this person's problem, it's all of our problems. So it's it's nice to be able to see as a community that we actually are living, working, and doing it, and not just saying it just because we can get up and say it.
Really well said. And boy, I wish you'd come to public participation and say just exactly that sometime. That would be amazing.
You're up, sir.
I know, between you and me, right?
Meeting tonight.
Yes. So we'll go back to a little easy one for you. So if you could add any feature or attraction to New Smyrna Beach, what would it be?
So I've got two ideas. Let me think about that for a second.
All right.
One would be either an outdoor or an indoor performing arts center.
Okay.
A place to have the performing arts. We've got amazing stuff with the Hub on Canal and with Jane's and with the Atlantic Center of the Arts and the Artist Workshop. And the Plein Air is coming up in October. So if you haven't seen the signs, the most amazing outdoor art painting around the county is going to happen right here in our city. But a performing arts center where we could hear music, watch performers on a stage, whether it's outdoors or indoors, would be an amazing feature. The second one is more of a fun thing, a little retro thing. That small city I grew up, small town up in Daytona when it was a small town, a drive-in theater. I would love a drive-in theater.
That's cool.
That would be just amazing. You take the old family truckster down there, you load the kids up in the back. Yeah, you spread the blankets out and you watch a full-length motion picture. Oh, that would be awesome.
I think people would do it. Yeah, I think people are craving that nostalgia and getting back to the roots with all this social and media and all the things. I think people are craving connectivity more than anything, because we have the illusion of that we're so connected and you can reach out to anybody at any time, but we're all so in our phones and on our computers that.
Boy, you said it. The new generation, that seems to be the way of communicating. But those of us that are from a different time, we so honor and so value the small community coastal feel that we have in New Smyrna, and we can never let go of that. We must legislate that. We must protect that. We must ensure that this community stays connected and stays open for now and for many, many more generations.
Sure. Yeah, I think people would really appreciate the simplicity of just putting their phone down for a couple hours and going to watch a drive-in movie. I definitely would sign up. I'd be one of the first people in line for sure for an attraction like that. So a little funding and resident impact question. With an extensive list of capital improvement projects, how does the city plan to fund these initiatives without putting too much financial strain on residents? And I know I'll let you go ahead.
No, really good question. So
kind of covered a couple of those. Yeah.
No, it's all right. It's a good question. It's a team show. It's a team show. Our biggest challenge today is not the excessive spending on capital improvement projects. We have had a series of capital improvement managers in our city come and go for the last 2 years. So the stability has been low. What that means is those projects kind of wane in who's holding the milestones, people accountable to the milestones. So what you'll see this year in the budget, the money for capital improvement projects has gone down. And so when I went to the assistant city manager and said, did it get cheaper? He said, no, we just can't execute it any faster than we're doing because our managers have come and gone. So we're getting ready to hire a new capital improvement manager. And lo and behold, It's one of our former capital improvement managers who went off to seek fortune with an opportunity that didn't pan out like he wanted to. So he's coming back. So we're going to have
Back to the drive-in movie theater.
back to the drive-in movie theater. And so then you'll see some rigor and some discipline put into each of those. And I want to see the amount of money that's been set aside through either grants or special funding get executed, because that's the sooner we and the citizenry get the delivery of the next item, right? The delivery of the next boat ramp, the delivery of an improvement to the docks behind the Brandon Center, the delivery of the next park, the delivery of any of those items is contingent on us following the milestones. And right now, we're kind of wandering. So we're going to get that triced up.
With positive change coming.
Yeah,
You bet.
so getting the right person in place. Good deal. All right, my last and final question for you is, if you could create, being the mayor, a new holiday for the city, what would it be?
That's a really good one. You know, and it really doesn't work that way. Everybody thinks that the mayor's got all the power. The power's in the people. A wise predecessor of mine said, we work for the people. No one individual, but we work for the people collectively. We must think of the collective good. So if I could declare it, it would be a kingdom and there'd be a ruler. Correct. Not what we have in New Smyrna, thankfully. But if I could find a holiday or declare something that would be institutionalized, it would be the concept of Friendsgiving. You know how you have Thanksgiving where you have to invite the usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Put on a nice face
Uncle
and happy
George,
attitude.
Aunt Margaret, who comes in and, you know, and
Always burns the casserole.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But if we could institutionalize Friendsgiving, where we three guys could get together and say, hey, let's have our friends in, and we're going to celebrate thankfulness, gratefulness, and giving back. And what a great town that we feel like we have a lot to be thankful for, and what a great town of givers we have. So I think Friendsgiving would take off like that.
Mandatory Friendsgiving.
Institutionalized Friendsgiving.
I think I would. Yeah, that's a great one. I think I have two questions for you. So there's several park improvement projects, including the creation of new pedestrian trails and lighting enhancements. What is the city's vision for expanding and improving public green spaces?
Really great.
Movie theater. Drive-in movie theater.
That's exactly right.
All roads lead.
All roads lead to the movie theater. Friday, Saturday night, matinee, whatever. Anyway, I digress. So, you know how I've talked previously about Old Town New Smyrna being, let's say, Riverside to the beach being full. So we have more parks per square mile in that part of town than we have in any other community in Volusia County. Midtown is like US 1 to Mission, and there's a few parks that are there, and a few green spaces left open. Not many. I would say it's 80% built up.
Sure.
What is yet to happen is what I call Newtown NSB, which is out west by 95, and those green spaces which are yet to be planned, yet to be opened up. If we start now thinking about what we want as citizens, that part of our town to look like, it won't just happen to us. We won't have the urban or suburban sprawl. We can actually find large parcel property owners that would be willing to say, make sure the wetlands are protected. Make sure that the city is given space to put recreation areas, another sports complex, a fire department expansion, a police department subunit, and have all of the park and natural features that we like when we go to, like, say, a state park. Something like that. We can plan that now when it's not a done deal. It's not developed. But it's going to take us, all of us, to get on board early. Find out what the stormwater management system is. Find out what the ecological impact will be. Find out what the sustainability and the reliability needs to be for that area, so that it becomes its own self-contained unit. You're not required, if you lived in this part of town, you don't have any needs. They're all fulfilled right there. My prediction is that in 10 years' time, the city of New Smyrna, by population, will be out near 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would. The way things are going, we would
It
agree with
seems,
you.
yeah. It
And
seems
so
that way.
why don't we plan for that today? We're not under any pressure. There's nothing forcing us to do anything but do it right. But if we do it right now, it only costs half as much instead of doing it right the second time, or having everybody get up in arms about, oh my gosh, we can't develop. We must plan for those that are coming to our community. We must look to the future. And while we do that, we protect Old Town. We develop and advance whatever Midtown needs to be to suffice our needs. And this new town, New Smyrna, can be the way of the future. It can be totally green. It can be totally environmentally friendly. It can be totally self-sustaining and resilient to the storms that we see today. We're not the first. There's a place called Badcock Ranch on the west, on the Gulf Coast of Florida, which sustained Ian and Nicole without a single bit of damage and a bit of flooding. We could develop that right here in our town.
Okay. That's something great to aspire to, and being proactive instead of reactive is obviously the key to making that happen. So
Absolutely.
And modeling other successful cities and not just throwing darts at the board to see, this might work, this doesn't work. And
We don't have to step in every pothole, right?
Right.
And cities will share. I mean, if it's another municipality, they will open their doors and say, oh, let me show you how we did it and all the mistakes we made so you don't have to make the same ones.
Absolutely.
And that is what this position is about, is opening those doors. That's what being mayor of New Smyrna is about, is talking to other leaders in other towns who are going through the same thing or have walked where we're going to walk going forward. And that's what I like about this job.
Sounds like a fun job.
It's been great.
Last question I
got
had
it
for
staged,
you.
right?
Oh, that wasn't my last question. I already asked the first one. So that's all. Is there anything that you would like to say to those out there in the city or who may be watching this? They might be their first time ever seeing you or hearing from you.
Could be. New Smyrna has so much to offer, and it's a generous town with neighborliness like I've never seen in any of the other many communities I've lived at. Celebrate the fact that you are building cohesive bonds that will last a lifetime here in this town. We need to protect that skill. We need to develop our next generation to honor that form of communication. Put down your cell phone. Go talk to somebody live. Be a part of this community. Your commission is listening. I am listening. We want your input because we want this to be the community that we can be proud of and that we can live in for the rest of our lives. Many of us never left home. We decided we would stay our entire lives. Amy and I came back to New Smyrna after graduating high school, and we could have lived anywhere in the country. We spent most of our adult lives traveling the world, traveling the country, looking for, where was it? Right back home here in New Smyrna. So we're so happy to be here and so happy and privileged to serve the community.
Well,
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here, and you made it back to your own acres of diamonds.
Exactly
Mayor
right.
Cleveland, we
have our
appreciate
vote.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.